Hey everybody, it's Matt. Today we're reviewing the Thinkware X800 dual channel bundle, now available at Best Buy. Comes with a front camera and a rear camera. A couple other really helpful things is that I found out that there's a micro SD card in the box already ready to go. Two types of cables as well, which is for hard wiring as well as wiring through your power source in the car. We are not going to be hard wiring during this review because I do have to return the camera, and so I don't want to ruin the hard wiring kit. Let's do a quick unbox here. And so we have our front camera first. As you can see, it's a small little camera that's going to sit on the front, not unlike other Thinkware cameras we reviewed in the past. And then let's look inside at all the other products that are included. Got our instructions. We've got our easy power here, easy power source. This is the hard wiring kit. This is great because not every camera out there comes with a hard wiring kit, so it's great that this comes on board. We have our wire clips here. No, I'm sorry, this is the front mount. This is what the rear camera looks like. Okay, here's our wire clips. Here's our micro SD card as well as the SD card adapter. And this is the cable that will feed the transmission from the rear camera back to the front. GPS and some extra tape. Just about all set up and ready to go. I did mount this a little bit lower than I would normally recommend, but I've got some sticker residue up there that I haven't been able to scrub off, and I do have to return this, so I didn't want to get any of that sticker residue caught in the adhesives for the mount. You see I've got the GPS there as well as the rear camera plugged in. Everything plugs in at the top, so your DC power is over to your left, your GPS here, and then your rear camera comes in here. There's a 2.7 LCD touchscreen that runs all of the features and where you can view your footage back. There's a power switch at the side as well for easy on-off operation. Otherwise, you can just leave it defaulted and it'll always start continuous recording when you start your vehicle. Then you've got your micro SD plug in there, and then the front of the camera looks like this. Records in 1440p, 30 frames per second. So this just slides on like this and give it a little bit of a click, and then we'll start to plug everything in and get going. Let's go on a quick tour of the camera before I show you what all this footage looks like and how clear the cameras are. Live view is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to show you essentially what it's recording. Your file list here is a list of everything that has been captured over time, along with any continuous incidents. So in my case, jostling the camera and going over a big speed bump before I changed all of my settings. And here are the settings. So your system settings are pretty self-explanatory. You can set and calibrate things like your audible notices for ADAS. You can set the clock, set the time and date. If you plug in the GPS, it'll capture your time and date correctly to within an hour anyway. And if you live in a daylight savings area like I do, you just have to make modifications for that. Your road safety settings, once again, self-explanatory. Make sure you set your ADAS features to the type of vehicle you have. Since I'm in an SUV, I've set it to SUV, but you can also set it for a sedan. Your recording features, again, are pretty self-explanatory, but the one thing that I just wanted to mention is that the night vision is defaulted to only parking mode. So if you want it in continuous recording mode like I did, make sure you just come here and toggle it on. And then the last thing is your camera settings. And your camera settings will look at the LCD brightness as well as the rotate the rear camera view. This isn't what I thought it was originally. I thought maybe they were making amends for people like me who installed the cameras upside down in the past, but it actually looks like it's a vertical flip as opposed to a horizontal flip. So you've still got to make sure that you install the camera the right way. All right, so I'm going to plug in and go for a drive for a bit, and the next thing you're now going to see is what the footage looks like.
Here are the camera specs for the Thinkware X800 dashcam. Front and rear camera come with the following recording capabilities. At the front, it's a 1440p Quad HD with a 150-degree field of vision at 30 frames per second. At the rear, it's a 1080p Full HD with a 160-degree field of vision at 30 frames per second. Earlier on, I showed you how to view your recordings on the camera itself. You can also remove the micro SD card and take it to a PC or Mac and use Thinkware's viewing app to watch both front and back at the same time, as well as view the other coordinates you've enabled. This camera doesn't have Wi-Fi, which means you can't use any of Thinkware's mobile apps, nor are there any cloud storage features to upload and save clips outside of doing it locally. The cameras are also onboarded with Sony's StarViz technology for clearer night vision capture. There's a default night vision setting as well as a night vision 2.0 for continuous and parking recording. The bundle also comes with a 32 gig micro SD card with an adapter, so you don't have to get one before you leave the store like you do with other cameras I've had to test in the past. Once everything's plugged in, it's pretty smooth sailing. Continuous recording defaults every time you start your vehicle, and you don't have to worry about much else. All your footage will overwrite itself when the card reaches capacity. The 32 gig card that's included records at about 200 megs per minute in front and rear storage, and when accounting for everything else stored on the card, it'll net you approximately 105 minutes worth of footage. You can expand this to a 64 gig card and get double that. This might be a slight turnoff to those of you that would like to have 6 to 7 hours of loop footage, but it should be enough for most drivers' needs. In case you are at all curious what one of the ADAS incidents might look and sound like, here's a couple examples. Example number 1 was when the camera jolted due to my hitting a dip coming off the highway. Example number 2 was when I came up to a left turn in the road, but the camera's frontal collision system detected an object ahead. In this case, it was a road sign. I had the sensitivity up to try and capture incidents on purpose, so don't worry, your results will vary and the camera won't be so jittery.
This back to school, get the latest phones on the leading carriers from the mobile shop and get up to $300 in PC Optimum points. Visit us in
I've given you a quick mix of front and rear footage day and night, but have not given you much audio. The camera does marry the audio with the front and rear captures at the same time, as you would expect it to, so here's a short example. I've also not addressed one problem I had with the rear camera at night, and this is probably just isolated to my vehicle, but it was no matter where I pointed or changed angles or no matter how much I cleaned it, the rear camera had a lot of glare at night, which I think was a combination of the road, the other cars, and of course the street lights. On the front camera, this is my fault because of parking the car outdoors and repeated problems with sap buildup despite a number of washes, but on the rear camera, I don't really see that you can fix this issue without a color polarizing filter or perhaps mounting the rear camera inside your vehicle if that's a possibility. Unfortunately, I don't have a great spot inside this vehicle to mount a rear camera. I've done this before with Thinkware rear cameras in past reviews, and I really wasn't satisfied with the output and the quality at all. This looks better, in fact, than what it looks like when I mount it inside. Regardless, that's my problem to solve, because overall, I really think that this is a good camera for the novice user. The ADAS is super helpful, as is the capture and isolation of the video of any incidents. Video footage is pretty clear. I think it's pretty good quality. This is the type of dash cam I'd recommend as a very good and very simple out-of-the-box option with enough features to make it worth the purchase price. However, more advanced users might crave a higher frame rate, maybe a higher max card size, might even want Wi-Fi or mobile app capability or cloud storage, in which case this definitely isn't the system for you. If you're still unsure, and you're still on the fence about whether this is the one, feel free to read the associated review on the Best Buy blog to help determine whether this is the right choice for you.
So overall, this is a really good camera, but is this the camera for you? There are a lot of good features like ADAS and the fact that this is really hands-off that make this a really good camera for beginners. However, advanced users who want a little bit more freedom with different things and might like Wi-Fi, this might not be the camera for you. What I would recommend though is check out the review in the link below
and see if this is the camera for you. Otherwise, the Thinkware X800 2-channel dash cam system is now available at Best Buy and online at bestbuy.ca. Thanks for watching this review. My name is Matt. Please subscribe to this channel for more video reviews like this, and we'll see you next time.